wide is.
What's that?
No, I think it always has been a really wide one, I remember.
Oh, okay.
But the screen's not on our side anymore.
Okay, let's come to order. Good morning, all. This is the Washington Area Highway Transportation Committee meeting. It is Monday, February 26th, 2018. And Gina, would you do the call to order, please?
Mark Wessels, Ed Fisher, Judy Wagner,
Here.
Ray Frankenberg,
Here.
Bob Ingeman,
Here.
Bill Strotman,
Here?
Mayor Lucy, Joe Hoopmar,
Here.
Danny Cassette,
Here.
L.B. Eckelkamp,
Here.
Bill Miller,
Here.
Tim Brinker,
Here.
Steve Solentrub,
Here.
Jeff Knowles.
Please stand. I Good spring morning here.
You're gonna get that once in a while.
Beautiful day.
Is it?
First item on the agenda, always, is the review of the previous meeting's minutes. Any comments, corrections? Gina, I just noticed that on the Amtrak, I think we own the locomotives, I think is what that should say.
Okay.
Any comments, review, anything? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Amtrak, Mark's not here. Anybody else have anything that they can add to Amtrak? Sandy, maybe? Hearing none, we'll move on. Highway 47, Missouri River Bridge.
We got exciting news this week. We'll be setting our last concrete girders, precast, from the event 10 to 9. So late this afternoon, they should be arriving into town, and they'll be staged out on 47. We'll probably put 4 of them down just south of 100 on those extra lanes, at Studerman and Beaker Road. And then 2 of them will be up here at Missouri Avenue. Starting tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, there'll be intermittent closures, complete closures of the 47 to set those precast girders. So there's 6 of them, and so we're excited. It'll be up to 15 minutes to 30-minute closures at a time, though, when they do get they're going to back the girder back up on the roadway and close both lanes or both directions and then set those girders. But it's all based on the railroad timing. So that's really why it's so critical to do all this at the same time, is to make sure that their flaggers are there and that we stop all the trains. So the traffic flow will be stopped for 15 to 30 minutes on Missouri 47 while we're doing that. But those are the last precast girders, so it's exciting today to start seeing those roll into town. They will be channelized off, and the drivers will be sleeping here in town somewhere, but it'll be exciting. They weigh, I know Bill was going to ask me this, and I knew you were going to be back from rehab, so I made sure I asked. The girders are 152 foot long, 6.5 foot tall, and they weigh 150,000 pounds each. So they're pretty heavy.
Are you setting them off the bridge?
Yes,
So-
off of 47. Mhm. Yes.
Judy, what time, and maybe I missed it, what time in the evening will they start the closure?
Between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. And again, it's going to depend on the train schedule. So whenever they say that we can close the rail lines because they're over the railroad tracks, then that's when they'll have everything ready to go and staged. They'll shut down the tracks and the highway, back the track in and lift the girders into place.
A lot of coordination, huh?
You bet.
Yes.
So the crane is like on the bridge, and then
No, the cranes will be.
on
yeah,
the land?
They're down
Okay.
on below.
Are down below? Okay, okay,
But the girder itself will be up on the highway.
on the
so they can
highway,
Lift it.
so they can lift it off from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
I was trying to think, how could you do that with only 15-minute closure? But, all right, I get it.
By the time the truck backs in there,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Okay. So I guess we could camp out all night and watch, but,
Yeah,
No.
that would be exciting. No,
It's on-
It's your last chance.
Bring out
Um,
flashlights.
for the concrete girders, yeah, so the toll will be, right now we have 20 of the 75 plate girder bridges, girders in place. So there's still 55 to go, Mayor. So you've got a lot of plate girders still.
I have more time.
You have more time to look at the steel girders coming later probably in March, so you'll see them soon.
Okay.
So it's exciting.
Dude, that's videotaped all night too, is it not?
Yes.
What channel?
Videotaped.
If you want to pull up our link, we can show them real quick.
No, I'm teasing.
No, actually, we planned this, so
Oh, giddy.
you could go to our website.
This was not a staged question, so.
No, it wasn't.
Put me on the spot here.
Judy, is the overall project on schedule?
Yes. And that's what I was just talking to Bob about. This high water now is going to potentially cause some, we'll have to make sure the girders get down here before any kind of spring floods happen. So we'll see how that goes.
And what's the plan on those? Those are the big ones that are coming by barge, you mentioned, right?
And there's already some on site.
Where are they at?
They're under those green barges up just on the side of the bridge, on the upstream side,
They're in the middle of the river.
just floating out there in the middle.
Floating out there.
Those anchors
Okay.
are up there.
Yeah,
It is exciting.
it is. It's getting very exciting. There we go.
Live camera link, all right.
You can see all kinds of projects. And the camera's down. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, these will be great pictures from here on the rest of it.
Yeah, actually, it'll be really nice.
This is at 9:01 this morning.
What?
This was at, the last picture was taken at 9:01 this morning, so
Yeah.
it was
A little bit
7
of it.
minutes ago.
Yep,
I'll give you,
Fresh off the camera.
fresh off the camera. There's the old.
well, play,
Oh, there you go.
should play.
There it goes, the time lapse.
Judy, it looks like the pavement of the new bridge is a little bit higher than the
Yes.
elevation of the
Kevin,
old
do you know
bridge.
the exact
Oh, look at how it
difference?
started.
It's considerably
No
different,
green.
yes.
Yeah.
And then it got
Because the
green.
arch of the new bridge with those long spans will be higher. Because the old style has the truss above the deck, the Warren truss. So that's carrying all your load. Now our girders are carrying most of that load.
Was the intention to try and maintain the clearance underneath it the same?
Yes. And Kevin, I'm sorry, you can get up, Kevin, and explain.
Judy,
the
is MoDOT
details.
planning for quite a opening celebration?
Yes, we will be talking about that in mid-April is when I'm expecting to start. We've talked internally now what we can do, what we can't do. And then I'm thinking mid-April, we'll be ready to
Yeah, I was gonna
set the
touch base with you
schedule
today.
and elections will be over and it'll just be a good time to start the planning of the events, whatever the city really wants to do. Actually, this week we'll be having the topping out party. That's when the contractor pours the last of the substructure. They call it a topping out. So, topping, yeah, you're finishing all of the stuff below the deck. So that is going to be, I think they said Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the weather. Now with rain coming in Wednesday, I'm not sure that's going to happen.
What do you do at a topping out party?
I think they're going to have a barbecue and so, I'm hoping anyway. But again, it's like one of those things you really can't plan because it's all based on the weather. So we will find out here hopefully today, I guess, if we're gonna, we'll do that, so.
Cedar tree.
That's a big deal for spring flooding, right? to get
That's
this-
huge, a huge thing to be out of the river.
Yeah.
And having, everything off of those barges. I mean, we still got to set the girders, and that's all river work still. But to be not so much dependent on the elevation of getting in cofferdams, those kind of things. But now, we've got some clearance issues to get those barges down here, or up here, over here. So that may be the only thing that I can see. Kevin is also here, so if he wants to add anything, feel free, Kevin, to chime in.
Will they still have barges staged on the river?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Still-
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, the new bridge from the main river span, for example, the girders are 10.5 feet deep and usually got about a foot and a half, or about a foot for deck. So you're 11.5 feet from the deck line down to the bottom of the girder, and you're probably 3 or 4 on the existing. So we're probably 7 foot deeper than we are on the existing bridge. Therefore, the deck has to come. Now I know the Corps gave us some break a little bit. We didn't have to make up the whole difference in height, but yeah, as they set the rest of those girders, yeah, you won't be able to see downtown until the bridge is open again.
Because it'll be, you're blocking your view from the existing bridge.
Because of the beams.
Yeah. Once the big girders are set, they'll be that much higher than the old bridge.
You've been across the new boom bridge down in Chesterfield, same thing. The old truss bridge, they got the new plate girder bridge alongside the existing. You'll see where the new deck sits quite a bit up above the existing roadway elevation.
Judy, how long after the new bridge is open will they demolish the old bridge?
You know, they're working on that plan right now to work through the demo plan. I'm guessing if we get it open by December 1st of this year, that it would come in the middle of springtime in 19. But again, there's a lot of stuff still on that old bridge that has to be relocated over and coordinated. So that's what I'll know more later I'm thinking in this month is when they'll be finalizing that plan.
The first thing they'll do, they'll go through and tear out the whole concrete deck off the existing bridge before they drop it in the river. They'll get as much of the structure out as they can before they have to
Before they drop it.
blow it up into pieces. And there's only 15 feet between the old bridge and the new bridge once it's done, so it's a pretty
That's
careful
amazing.
operation.
And that is
How close
extremely
it is.
tight. I know doing the cofferdams and things underneath the water was a big scare as well, because you don't know exactly what was left there from the original bridge construction. When they did the Boone, you know, they found old, what did they call those things where they were like blocking the water to divide the water they had put in there to help alleviate the stress off the cofferdams, and they had left them in place, and they didn't know it until they started building the new bridge that those were there. So you never kind of know what's exactly under there until, you know, you actually get down in there and start drilling in the river. So we've been very fortunate, knock on wood. But again, that's one of the most difficult part of this structure, is that it is so close to the existing bridge. I know the bridge magazines, excuse me, the National Bridge something, there's several bridge magazines across the country, but they were asking about the kind of the difficulties and why it was designed this way and so forth, was to minimize the footprint. But that is one of the things that a lot of the contractors say, is that it's 15 foot is just not enough room to build a new bridge. And
It's
so
tight. It's the same dimension they had on Herman, actually, though.
It is,
So
yeah.
It's no closer.
It's
when-
possible,
Well,
but
it's
it's
going.
just something that, yep.
It's happening.
It is possible, and we knew it was possible. It's just the idea that it's not ideal.
Really have to have it implode rather than explode. huh?
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Judy, I think the Chamber of Commerce is starting to prepare for the events or whatever. If you would just bring them into the loop, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they're going to start,
Absolutely. We've been contacted by a number of people. So we're going to start with a meeting in April with just the city folks first and see where they want to go with it. Because that was our original agreement. And so once, like I said, April, mid-April to end of April, that's when we're going to start kind of with the city, though, because there's so many things out there, the naming of it and all those other things. But really, I want to go with just the city and Warren County planning the focal of the event. Alberici has told us what they will and will not allow on the structure, because it will be theirs. So there's going to have to be some surrounding events. So we'll have to go into those details with the city and the county later, since it's technically theirs, you know, theirs to celebrate. But yeah, no alcohol, no dinners on the bridge, just so you know off the top of the head. We're not really going to suggest a run or walk on the bridge at all, an official race, because of liability reasons. So, because there really is no connection to the roadway until the night we switch traffic. So everything is going to have to be staged as it is. It'll all be a night traffic switch, and so there's a lot there to do. And the completion, the date of the adjusted date to be on the new bridge is December 3rd of this year. So we're going to have to plan it
December 3rd?
somewhere before that. And again, there's a lot of variables still because of the weather. But right now, that's their adjusted bridge opening date.
I was hoping that would be on a balmy, warm day.
Yeah.
Let's order that up.
It could be.
Might be, it's Missouri.
I'm thinking December 1st for
Tough to think.
a ceremony probably would be the best date because of, you have Thanksgiving before that and all other kinds of
That's not the
things.
Thanksgiving weekend, is it?
No, it's the weekend after. So it's after your parade.
So what I'm hearing is that if any groups want to coordinate for this party, they really need to do it through the city?
Yeah, we're gonna have to decide who, if the city wants to, put it all on the bridge committee or how you want to handle it, because there's just too many groups that want to participate. And you guys are good at planning events, so I just want to make sure that we don't offend anyone.
Well, it's a great story for the news media to start, it's a great story of what happened
Absolutely.
in this community. So that needs to be, we could draw this out. I'm thinking it's going to be great just to draw attention to Washington. I don't think there's been a lot of attention with what's happening here with this $63 million bridge. It's going to, now we can start getting ready for this thing, get the
Yeah.
PR, get the news media excited about it, because when's the last time you saw anybody even say anything about that bridge? It's a great opportunity for the whole town of Washington to get some great PR. And it affects business and everything else.
Absolutely.
John, I see you.
Well, once the traffic is turned over and before the decking and the superstructure of the old bridge is imploded, and the opportunity for residents to get on that old bridge one last time before it goes, or is that?
And that's part of our planning as well, yes, because we'll have like a last hurrah on the old bridge. Then we'll also have a watch party, or city will also have potentially a watch party. But again, we want those to be in controlled locations. We're thinking the city, that bottom ground by the trail would be a great location. So we'll have all those planned. We've got some time yet, but right now, I think that's probably that Saturday, December 1st deadline, and then have some kind of ribbon cutting on the structure, and then maybe I'll head to the riverfront for a bridge lighting ceremony, Christmas tree, whatever. But do that kind of festivities off of the structure is kind of what we're leaning towards. Have an official ribbon cutting ceremony during the day or afternoon, and then maybe have a lighting ceremony that evening with all the other festivities that they did.
And the lighting ceremonies will be much better not on top of the bridge.
That's what I was
That needs to
thinking.
be
and-
down on the,
Yeah. you can
yeah.
see.
All right, well, we'll talk.
Yes, absolutely.
The governor going to be invited?
Well, that's what I think, part of the planning and getting it on the schedule, whoever the governor may be at the time.
And they're off.
Hitting below the belt there.
And so it begins.
That way, all dignitaries will have it on their calendar plenty time in advance. So I was thinking after the election here in town that we would then meet and decide.
For the newspaper's sake, that was Bill Miller Senior. I'd like to say I was shocked, but it wasn't.
I would like to push or recommend that we highlight the partnership between the community and MoDOT and the transportation and all that as we go through the year preparing for this.
You bet. That's it's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this thing came about, so.
I don't know how we do it, but somehow we've got to start saying that there's got to be more money put into transportation before it gets damaging to us. I know we all know that here, but I got to say it out loud every now and then.
Well, we can discuss that. Kevin and I attended a state chamber meeting on transportation this past week, and I'm sure Kevin and I will have some things to tell you about that in the rest of the meeting here, later in the meeting. Anything else on the bridge?
I have one more thing. I know it's not anything major, but the bridge, your Washington Elementary is, or primary elementary is having their family reading night this Friday night, and we're going to be there. I'm not going to be there, but Tim Hellebush will be there.
Oh, with the bridge.
Because the book is, I don't know if you know what the theme of the night is, Tinyville Town Gets to Work and they get a new bridge
Yeah.
for the town.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
yeah, so Tim Hellebush will be there, but Aaron Goff is going to be our reader.
Okay.
He's like been in all kinds of speech meets and stuff, so I really thought he would be qualified to do it. But Tim will be there to answer any questions.
Oh, good.
And also have the fact sheets there and stuff, so. But what a classic book. I thought that was really,
Yeah, it's really, yeah, I thought it was a great.
yes. Excuse me.
Okay.
And then we're also
choked up.
going to, I've had this stupid cold or whatever this.
We know it's
flu thing
emotions about the bridge, Judy.
It is emotions. It's so emotional.
It's okay. Yeah.
And we're also going to take a team to the 5K, our Work Zone 5K awareness on April 14th. It's a 5K run, walk, family, 1 mile walk, family focused day up at Chesterfield that raises awareness for our work zones. So the partnership team from the bridge is going to have a team participate in that race. And some of us just do the 1 mile walk run for fun. But if anybody would want to go and be a part of that, we're going to try to get a big picture with Beryl Bob there and anybody that has to do anything with this bridge project. But you can go on our website, on the top of our website, if you don't mind, while I got you there, and join us that day. I think it's $15. Everybody gets a medal, everybody gets a T-shirt. But just to show, like you said, that partnership and that community support.
It's on the homepage, Judy?
On the homepage, it's,
You say you're gonna have a booth
What's
or
the
a
date of
presentation?
it?
it's April 14th. The race starts at 5 a.m.
Wow.
Maybe it's not on there. It's, it should be a banner across the top. If not, I will send you that information. That's what I was gonna talk about later.
I heard you say the race starts at 5 a.m.?
At 8 a.m.
Okay.
Sorry. That's too early.
Stay up and run.
But really, if anybody is interested, it's for all ages, or you could just come. We have like a lot of our big trucks up there and like a striper and some other things that you might be interested in getting into and just seeing what we do and how we do it. It's probably not on our webpage. St. Louis page, maybe? Oh, wait, over there on the right, what was that, 5K? Go up just a little bit. Was that it? No? Okay, it's on my Facebook page too, if anybody wants. Go to the St. Louis page, just down a little bit.
This right here, this one?
Yep, the whole page. Nope. Now click on the map on the right, bottom right, St. Louis.
5K was in the middle on the
Yep,
last
I saw it
screen,
right over
yeah.
there.
Just it? I
That,
didn't see it. Oh, right here.
You're down there.
Work Zone 5K.
There you go.
April 1? Oh, that was last year.
That's the old one. But it is April 14th. And so if you can, here's some pictures. And you know Lyndon's, Ebker, his family comes now out and also does outreach. But what we do, we line the entire route with people. There's Bill Weta, who is also from Franklin County. Larry Licklider is from Franklin County. But what we do is, throughout the whole race, those cones represent someone from MoDOT that lost their lives on and in a work zone. And that is not me at the head of the pack there, I can tell you that. I'm at the back side there. But,
Okay.
so anyway, if you'd like to come, it's a great event to raise awareness. And like I said, you can walk, run, whatever you want to do. Right here, it splits the 1 mile from the 5K. But we close down, you know, like the bridges over 64. And so it's a good event if you can come out and support us. And then what we'll do is just before or after the race, we'll get a big group photo of all of anybody that comes from Washington in support of the bridge with our Alberici folks. And there's giveaways and stuff too as well. So if you could sign up for that, that would be
So
wonderful.
the race starts at 8?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have for the bridge. Kevin, did you have any other things on the bridge?
Anything else? Hearing none. ADA transition plan?
We held our kickoff meeting approximately 3 weeks ago, and HDR Engineering will be doing the work for City of Washington, in conjunction with our staff as well, doing some measuring of sidewalks, things of that nature. So essentially what we will get out of this is the transition plan, which we will send to council for review and hopefully approval. And then we will also get a GIS like a mapping type program so we can keep up with our sidewalks, inventories, things of that nature, to assist us in prioritizing what needs to be fixed and things of that nature. So,
What's the biggest item on that group of plans? Just out of curiosity.
biggest item?
Yes.
I mean, as far as, there's a building component as well, but I would say the biggest item would just be our ADA ramps and lack thereof within town, yes. So,
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, Highway 47, Corridor Committee.
so on Thursday, February 8th, we held a meeting with Union, MoDOT, the consultant, to do safety audits from Studerman Road to Union. Essentially, what we did was a group of us were able to get in just a large passenger bus and actually physically go to some of these intersections that we're seeing some of these crash rate increase, the increase in crash rates, things of that nature, and just brainstorm some ideas about what could and couldn't be done with the dollars that we have available or do not have available. So it was very informative. It was a good, it lasted till about noon, 12:30. Gave everybody an opportunity to just kind of come together and take a look at some of these intersections. So I do believe they were going to go from Union to St. Clair. That may have happened, though.
Last Friday.
There we go. Last Friday, perfect. I was not in attendance of that. So once those safety audits are done, I think they take those comments and continue to put together the full report. So it's moving right along.
Yeah, we're meeting again Wednesday this week, the corridor committee, to discuss all these findings on the north and south corridor studies and continue to implement plans/assessment.
I think a couple of the bigger items that I saw was, it's just, there was a lot of areas where there were site distance issues. Some fairly minor things could be done with like as easy as like cedar trees growing on rock outcrops that would kind of, people pulling out onto 47 couldn't quite see around those, so they pull further out into the intersection. So I think, those are some pretty minor things, maintenance, more items, so hopefully we could do some things pretty quickly to do some items,
If you do that more often, maybe you'd invite some of the people that actually use those intersections a lot and ask them to go with you, it's literally, and so that you get their input, just hearing what they see, what, the engineers see, they look on a plat and they see it that way, but basically when you're there, you're seeing the people and how they're interacting with other traffic stuff but the locals generally know what the problems are too.
I think another important component of that kind of meeting was you could see that, I guess, Union contracts with First Student out of Washington. So when school time and when everybody's trying to get to work, you got all these school buses that are trying to get to Union to pick up kids. So it's those type of things that are that you don't really see maybe on a plat or on paper. It's just the way that the traffic is moving from one community to the next to get kids around just in school, or to get from, potentially your residential areas. A lot of people work in Union or live in Union that work in Washington, and just looking at how the timing works out with the industrial park, things of that nature. So there was a lot of good discussion within the group. We did have a superintendent with Union was at the meeting, and the sheriff's office was there. So it was well informed and well received. So
I'll ask Commissioner, the plan then, after this report is done and we got the public input and it's all together, who's going to actually physically then get it to East West Gateway to, I guess, get it on the books, so to speak?
Well, pending on the timing, we'll hand it directly in the hands of the chair of East West Gateway, resides in our county seat. So that'd be perfect, application. If it's after the first of the year, when the city changes at that point, we'll make sure we get it there. We'll always have representation. So.
Very good. Very good.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions?
On the 47, I know this is north of the river, but last month, actually several times, we've discussed the preferred alternatives for the north of the river. So if you want to page through this page, I just brought the executive summary, and there's an exhibit on here that you can look at.
sorry, Judy, I'll get to one here. There you go.
There you go.
Help you. Perfect.
So I know a lot of people asked which way they were looking at And as you can see, there were a lot of different alternatives that were looked at. Whoop,
Last one.
go back.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. So you can kind of see the 47 just north of the bridge up to Dutzow. There you go. So we are staying within that alignment, so that purple that shows exactly where it's at today. So the east and the west bridge crossings are no longer, there you go, that one is to the west, and then the east are no longer alternatives that can be studied. But so when you look at from where the bridge is crossing today, right there, really there was nothing looked at straight across to the bluff. So what this means to me is now that that has been established, that the new bridge is located where it is, that almost a whole new study will need to be looked at, and not a lot of the preferred alternatives from this will be considered when they move to the next phase, just because it doesn't make sense. So I think they can start, I mean, they can probably utilize some of the information in here, but now that the bridge is located where it is, that really eliminates a lot of these preferred alternatives. So when you look at it, there's really nothing drawn on paper that shows anything else. I know this one green alternative here kind of showed going straight into 94 there, but this is where we were talking about taking it across to the bluff there. So, yeah.
Briefly, when and how does that get initiated, that study? That new study that you're looking at?
The new study is what we talked about last month. Boone Slick has to take the lead on that because it's in Warren County. But I think, was Herbie here?
Herbie was here, I think.
Herbie,
late
was it
last week.
Hubie, Clayster, I'm sorry, Hubie. And they are gonna take it to their, what do they call it? Their TAC meeting. It's a Technical Advisory Committee meeting, and that's how they prioritize projects in Boone Slick. Because they're a regional planning council, they do they do things a lot different than what East West Gateway does, because we're a metropolitan planning organization. So the RPC is Boone Slick for that area, so they have to go through like a lot different process kind of than we do. So they have 3 counties, and then those technical advisory committees, they're appointed, then they sit and look at all the needs for all 3 counties. And then they decide, okay, is it more important to put a crosswalk across 61 for Troy High School, or is it, this is their priority? So
Do you know any history, or how does this project rate in their history of looking at this?
I don't think it's ever been on their plan. And they are also, and this is, I don't really want to put that Judy said this, but they've really not had the long-range plan process as strictly as what East West Gateway has done. So they are in the process of trying to get up to speed on their long-range plan. So it's an ideal time for this study to take place and at least become a priority. And that way you can at least get it listed. And that's what Bill harps on and preaches on every time, because if it's not on the list, it will never become a priority. So you've got to get it out there, and now that technical advisory can start, that TAC committee can start seeing the demand and how much of their population uses this corridor. And it kind of starts the ball rolling, really.
No question.
Because some of those advisory members may never come down this way. They may live up in Warrenton or, Hawk Point or wherever, so.
Bill, I suggest you take up temporary residence across the river, start a committee like this, and get going.
Yeah, I think Warren County is well aware they need to get on the board here real quickly and get their end of it started.
And I think UB's doing a good job, though, getting it
Yeah, I mean,
He
raised.
speaks up, yeah.
Yeah, he does
I'm sure
speak up.
I-70 is their big concern.
Huge right now. And now that I know tolling is off the table for I-70, this now might be a good time to slip something else in that will be.
well, there's other fundings coming, and Commissioner might know about the monies that are coming down, could be coming from the feds and the state.
Well, you have a question, I'm sorry.
Yes?
No, I'm sorry. What you were just talking about with the Boone Slick Regional Planning Commission, would that be called the Causeway
Yes.
Project? Is that, okay, so
the list as
Oh, it did, okay.
Okay, so I just
Perfect.
throw that in.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Super.
deal.
Very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the step. You have to
Perfect,
take the
thank
step.
you.
You have to get it in the funnel. It can't go anywhere unless you get it into the top of the funnel.
So they're calling it the 47 Causeway?
Is that the causeway of elevating that, or is that?
Listed as a need.
Yeah, that's for the flood bypass. So whenever the waters are up, we need a way of getting to the road system across the river. And one of the options on that, of course, is a causeway going straight to the bluff from the bridge. Another one is discussions all down Highway 47 of what might happen. So I don't know if there's a specific statement or that there is a need to be connected.
I'm so sorry, I don't know that.
I just want to know the exact title of what they put in.
Okay, so what was told to me was that it was the Causeway project that TAC put as a regional need on the list.
Okay. So that could be,
The shortcut or a long one, but you don't know. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we're talking about the shorter cut because it's going to be easier
and
to
at
fund
this
and
point,
get
they could
done.
leave it very vague like that, so then they can decide what they want to do in the future.
When was this done, Judy, this MTIA?
This
I
was,
can't remember.
02, February
02,
02 is when
02.
the executive summary
Okay,
was,
the O2.
that was when it was finished, so it had to start
Did
in.
it go
99?
into beyond Union, or did it talk about the Union intersection in that MTIA? Just out of curiosity.
We have the green lines.
Yeah, right here, you could see the alternatives there at Union.
Yeah, but what exactly were the alternatives?
Right there, green.
Assuming this one's out of the picture, what'd they say for this? Or did they?
The current one.
Or they were just trying to give you alternatives?
Yeah, they eliminated those. The green ones they
are
eliminated.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
So you can see there, they kind of followed the alignment.
yeah, this is.
Bill.
Did they discuss the offset though
That's
at
what I was talking
15?
No.
They didn't get into that, did they?
Chad Egan said that he was gonna try and be here next month.
Okay,
Great.
Oh, good.
That's our
Good.
director.
so maybe we'll keep this up for next month.
Yeah, this is from '02. So when lines get drawn on maps, they have consequences, I will tell you. You gotta get people talking about it. So we're 16 years later, we're looking at it again.
Yeah.
And the bridge is just about done. And that was the key that
Yep.
kept this from going forward.
So with there not being anything on the line as well south of the Burbis, that means that could all be studied as well.
It could be.
But it will be a new study
At least,
for just that.
yeah.
It was just mentioned also that we needed to get a group like this set up across the river. I would contend that the Washington region goes from 70 to 44 as it impacts Washington.
We've always
So I would say we'd love to have somebody, I'm sorry, huh?
I think so, there's music playing.
Trying to figure out where the music's coming.
There it is.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, off the internet here?
There we go.
My fault.
Nope, you're good. Thank you.
We're on hold.
I kept thinking it was a phone ring.
So for some way we can get participation, I know Hubie has issues on the morning that we meet, but if we could somehow get a coordination with Warren County, like our presence of Warren County, the way we have a presence of Franklin County here at this, I think that's kind of important in order to get this moving and keep it moving.
I agree, no question about it.
I wonder if Chad is in that same meeting that Hubie's in, where maybe he might be available
I
to
don't-
join us
his last name?
if Hubie can. Like that.
Chad's last
There
name?
you go.
Yeah,
Egan,
Egan?
E-G-G-E-N.
E-G-G-E-N.
E-G-G-E-N, Egan.
Yeah, if he's gonna be here next month, hopefully, next meeting.
He said he was planning to be here next month.
Good, does he need a formal invitation?
I'm sorry.
Does he need a formal invitation? Probably not?
No.
Okay, very good.
Because we'd like to have him, so
Yeah,
we'll
we
send
wanna
him a
have-
letter if we need to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
well, put him on the agenda.
Put him on the
yes,
agenda,
yeah.
absolutely, put him on the agenda.
Yes, I think that's important.
And then send him an agenda too.
There you go, there you go.
That kind of pushes.
We'll send an agenda to him as well, and Hubie.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Hearing none. Looks like we're getting to the Franklin County Transportation Committee
No report?
report. MoDOT, Warren County, I don't think there's a report
Nope.
out here. Airport,
We have not met since our last meeting. We had a meeting scheduled, but things kind of fell together, and it got postponed till the first part of March. So there's nothing new. And then as I was walking out the door today, My assistant told me that we didn't also get a summary out to you guys for your packet, so we're going to get that on our calendars and try and make sure we get it to Gina in time to get it in the packets always, so I apologize for that.
You know, at the previous meetings, we've talked about like a rest stop for the Katy Trail at the airport or someplace in the airport area. Anything happening with that? Anybody know?
At the last meeting, I remember talking about possibly having a group set up to get this connectivity worked out over to the Katy Trail that wasn't on the actual pavement of Highway 47. Have you heard anything more about
Haven't
that?
sent a letter.
Forwarded a letter offering my service.
So we've got an offer from somebody to chair the committee that would keep this thing rolling, right?
That's great.
Is that the right way to say that?
Yes, Kevin volunteered.
I think that went to the city of Washington, is that what, or did it go to, okay.
No, you were looking at, what is it, what road do they call it? It's not Boone Monument Road, it's the one before.
The Warco County Road.
Warco, whatever area.
I'm not sure what the name of it is. It's been a county road since I've been riding the school bus to school, I know. And we used to have a couple families live down there. But, yeah, I think that, and the reason I say this now is talking about a rest stop or a place to stop and sit. I think that needs to kind of go together with this whole discussion as well.
Maybe the old Warco site could be the welcoming point.
Yep. And we did say, at the last meeting, I think we did say the airport boards talked about it, and we don't have any objection to it being on airport property over there. We can't find any.
You're far enough
negative.
away, anything wouldn't affect you, shouldn't affect you, should it?
Our operations are, yeah, and the property goes right up to the highway right-of-way over there, so, I mean, there's a lot of options. And then we also touch that county road down on the end of the runway. As we get down to the end of the runway, having people stop and loiter might become a bit of an issue, but we'll discuss anything that you guys, or that anybody wants to bring up for that.
So the trail and a rest area on the airport property, or just?
We'll discuss, yeah, all
Okay.
that.
I think
Just curious.
I mean, I don't want to try and lead that
No.
and say it's better here or better there until we have some idea what you guys are looking for. We do want to make sure that whatever we commit to or whatever we do, our recommendation from the airport board is going to be to remember that we want growth, and one day this airport may need to be expanded, and that's pretty much going to have to be to the south.
Would you think that the Warco site, the old Warco building, has got sewer and water?
I would think they would. They had toilets in there, but
Yeah.
whether it's something that works for.
I mean, the
I
trailhead
would-
has bathrooms.
Yeah, my guess is it would be on some sort of a septic system, on-site septic
Right,
system.
right.
So, and I would
And it
very much
hasn't been
doubt that that
occupied.
would be code now.
Correct.
I would think so too. I just curious, I didn't know how they,
That's Warren County.
I doubt that they ran sewer line all the way out to.
Correct, there is not public water and sewer to that location. It would have been a private well.
Just like the
Yeah,
airport.
yeah.
Right, okay, so that's my whole question.
To a certain extent, the airport does have a public
Good water,
system,
so I can see
but it's
where
on the city's own well out there. And inasmuch as it's the city's own well and you're flushing the city's toilets,
Ooh, I don't
it's
know
a
if I-
public system. But that, again, is pretty minimal. It's a septic
Yeah,
system as
yeah.
well.
Okay, that's all. We couldn't have gotten that lucky to have
Can we
sewer
point
and
out
water
where
going right
Warco
by.
site is? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Where the Warco site is?
It's a real short county road.
There's a little road there.
The Goose Hunting Road.
The
Stay
Goose
off.
Hunt Road.
Stay
Goose
away,
hunting,
never
yeah.
mind.
There's a meeting
VFW
done.
uses it.
There you go. Right above the 47?
That right, isn't that it, right
Yeah,
there?
his mouse is almost, that's where the county road comes off, and Warco is right in the north corner of that intersection.
It's a building.
It's a building with an old Ford tractor set.
And Warco was the name of a
Rotting
factory.
down.
that was there at one
Dilapidated.
time.
Where the
I
junk
see
roof's
that.
falling in.
Okay.
Where all the
Yeah.
junk
Good.
is.
Where all the what is?
Junk is.
Kind of junky looking.
And we have the kids'
I know where you're at
gun
now.
club is out there, and then
Nightclub is off.
it runs up to the trees that are right beside the runway at the top of the screen, and then that county road turned and went along the field line.
There's the
down.
gun club right there. Come down a little bit with that mouse.
No, I
There.
can't. Right here.
Right there.
There's the
Yeah,
gun club.
there's
Isn't there an
Warco.
old rock road that used to come up?
All the way down to the end, and you'll have a witness
So what, it
marker,
just dead
too.
ends into the airport property now?
No, I think you were gonna find that since there's still, the properties are still separated in that field line that runs south between the green field and the brown field, I think that county road.
Right here? I don't know what it's doing.
All right, you can-
I'm gonna point real fast, but I wasn't fast.
We're losing.
Try again.
They used to volunteer corn to us when we were teenagers.
There we go.
Try again,
Okay.
sorry.
So down from the bottom, just above the word Google, it travels up to those trees and then turns southeast and comes down toward, yes, just keep coming on down. There used to be a residence and there's still property lines and that road is used for the farmers to access their fields. So I'm thinking that it's probably
Okay.
still a county road.
There's only
It's
one
dirt.
residence there on Warco at where the trees are.
I don't
And then
think,
there was one down further, if you come down about a quarter mile down.
yeah, keep coming down all the way to the
Right.
bottom of the border.
And there's another one there.
Right down at those trees coming in there.
And
There
then
used
it
to be
just
two
dead
down
ends?
in there.
That's an old
Yep.
farm road, that's not even flat.
But it's a road, right? I mean,
It's
No.
the dirt access to the,
It is, but it's between properties. So
Right.
it's gonna have some public respect. And there used to be two homes down that dirt road. It was gravel when I was, before I was 16.
still some towns.
Can you
So-
zoom out just a little
and
bit?
of course, if you get,
Zoom out.
I just want to see where I'm at compared to, that's all. Can you zoom out, John?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
See good so?
The trailhead with the bridge.
Just a little bit higher.
Pull up like right there.
She wants to see the Dutso side,
The trailhead with, in conjunction with the bridge.
so you need to zoom out even more.
look where you're at.
There we go.
Okay.
Now you got it. You can see Dutso and you can see the bridge.
And the farm road is right here.
Yes.
Yep.
Church is over there somewhere.
Because the Katy Trail comes down alongside of that.
It follows the bluff down.
Yeah, it's-
between
Yeah.
the- Yeah.
So I was just thinking if there was a shorter connection through there is what I was thinking.
I would bet even more. I mean, I haven't measured it, but the airport's a mile long. The runway itself's a mile long.
So if you could cut across there to get to the Katy Trail,
You would have a new intersection.
at the
At that
Katy
location,
Trail, right. Mhm. But at least we get people off of the highway quicker. And then they could always go up to the trailhead to use the bathrooms or whatever, but
You got bathrooms.
And there was a
you know what I
time-
mean? Because the lady that called me was just wanting somewhere to, with the children to stop with shade. They didn't really necessarily need bathrooms, but
Well, that,
I'm more concerned with the high rate of speed and the trucks on 47 and a leisure rider on that 6-foot
Right.
shoulder.
A family trail as opposed to bikers that know how to ride on highways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those 11-foot driving lanes through that stretch
Yeah.
of 47?
But like I said, the speed limit's high and you got truck traffic with wide mirrors and,
Does Mars Hillerman still own all that? I guess he does.
Thank you, John. So I guess it's in the city's hand though.
Okay, anything else on airport? Ray, pretty much done with yours?
I'm done, yeah.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, Team Track,
No report.
East-West Parkway.
Casey's is going up, but there's no report on that either.
Yeah. Is that a bigger Casey's than we normally see? Or is that just a?
I'm
just
pretty
look-
sure their footprints are pretty standard, but
Yeah, it's the
I
same.
think it's just the way it's set up.
What do they do with underground tanks? Just curious.
The tanks are in. They have, they've actually had a request in to pump the ballast, the water, and the ballast material for the tanks into the sanitary sewers, so they're in the process of testing that right now. So
So the tanks are in?
tanks are in,
Oh.
yes.
They're underground.
Yeah, I didn't see it happen.
There was a lot of rock that had to be removed,
Oh, I was gonna say.
But there was
significant
a lot
amount
of
of rock.
Right in there, okay.
Not bad.
Yeah, okay.
I did look, John, I agree that there's probably standard footprints, but this does appear to be their larger as you get into the
Looks
city.
like
they're-
it.
I would not, yeah, I would not know.
Yeah.
And when are they scheduled to open?
It was, would you have that, Sal? Yeah, I think it's coming, it's this spring. It does give you kind of a feel, I mean, for transportation-wise, we did get, there's a ride-in, ride-out that was requested 3 years after occupancy. Currently, it's a full access. It just gives you a feel of why, what our traffic concerns were, you know, as that road progresses to the south, of why we wanted to make sure to have some controls over that access. Currently, once again, the city does not have any access control ordinance or anything of that nature. So, we're looking into that.
Is there gonna be over-the-road truck parking on that
No.
location? There's
No.
not, that's a rumor going around.
Yep, no, there's no, I mean, I'm not going to say there won't be anybody in there, but
No, no, I
there's no
understand. I'm just curious.
over-the-road trucking. It's not a trucking facility, it's more of a
Parking
a
lot
gas
for
station, a
trucks.
convenience store.
Yeah,
Is that a 24-hour?
It will be, yes.
Will be.
good. That's going to draw attention
Yeah.
to that portion of highway or
That's nice.
roadway at some point. That's the future.
The high school's letting out, things of that nature, that intersection's going to get quite a bit busier.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Public transportation? I think our person's answer something here.
John, can you
Right,
go back
she's
to
got
our
some for us.
website
Good.
real quick?
what's that?
Go back to our website.
Hey,
So, I thought maybe I could just give you, since I missed the last couple months, I'm sorry, like here's numbers from last year's Mo rides, totals that we have on rides and such. For Franklin County, it was like 78 total calls. 70% of those rides were for medical reasons, which is not surprising. You know, most of the people that call us do need medical rides. And like 51% of them were disabled in some way. 43% were elderly, and 43% of them got rides, which, again, it's the affordability of the rides that's just keeps people from using other transportation. Logisticare fills a big need, you know, so. And then so far this year, we have 67% of the rides for medical purposes, and so far 86% of the people that we can track are getting rides. So that's a little bit better so far, but it's only been a couple months. 31% of them have been elderly people. So I basically have been looking into trying to figure out, I know Dina was looking into a program for volunteer drivers. I'm kind of revisiting that, seeing if it's, you know, feasible. She had some issues with insurance that I still need to look into, you know. But we're just kind of revisiting that and to see if there is some interest in that. Because apparently there's not a lot of money out there for transportation and such, so, you know. Kind of what's- And I did attend the transportation, day of transportation at the Jefferson City, which we were able to talk to the legislatures about the affordability. You know, that's basically what's keeping people from getting rides, and just the budget itself and the rural issues people are having in rural Missouri. So,
are there the other agencies that were helping and doing this before, are they still intact? Are they still, Oates obviously is still doing what they have done. Have they expanded or anything improved?
Not really too much. They're working on, in Camden area, expanding a little bit. But yeah, I was trying to get in touch with them too, to get together. Our schedules have just not been able to get together. So yeah, I mean, they're definitely still in the picture.
Yeah, good.
That MTA, EMT, I'm sorry, that EMT, now they have a Medicaid number. I know they receive Medicaid funding. Does that help some of
It
these
does.
people?
It does. Anything that with Medicaid is gonna help, definitely.
Okay.
And I think, Logisticare basically does a lot of that, you know, but with the private companies. the
But no
Medicaid
Medicare, just the
Yeah,
Medicaid.
Medicare does
Yeah,
not.
right.
And Medicaid is so limited as well with what they will fund. It's gotta be strictly medical,
Mhm.
you know, so behavioral health is kind of out, and, you know.
Okay. Very good. Well, continue to get the information and bring it to us when you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other business? I'd like to ask Kevin, give a report, and I'll chime in wherever I can about the I know, that's kind of short notice here for you. I was excited about it. I was excited about what was told to us.
Yeah, so the Missouri Chamber of Commerce had their transportation summit in Jeff City last week. They do this once a year event. I've been going for HDR, I see go there every year, periodically, but basically it's kind of a general discussion on what the chambers of commerce around the country are looking to push for transportation this year. And working with the transportation bill that appears to be coming out, the $1.5 trillion plan that appears to be coming out.
Infrastructure.
Sounds to be largely in line with what a lot of the chambers have been discussing, with the exception of, right now, the way the transportation system works generally, local governments, MoDOT, stuff of that nature, put up 20%, federal government's making up the other 80. The way the plan is out there now, it's swapped around in the other direction. You need to come up with 80%, the government's gonna match 20. They kind of stress at the point that that's the plan that's out there now, doesn't mean what's gonna be finally approved, but
But they're putting up something to the tune of 200, how many, lots of money.
230 million, 230, something like that.
Right, that's going to be
The
put
rest
up.
of it would be through local funds or private funds to help fund the rest of the improvements that we're looking at. This is an entire transportation, or infrastructure bill, it's not just transportation that's involved. But more than likely, he said, and not so much the percentages that he says, so don't key on the percentages, key on the fact that the direction that it's going. The feds are gonna pay less, basically, is the direction. Whether it's 50-50 in the end, it's probably not gonna be 20-80 anymore. It's gonna be a larger percentage of local funding going into some of these larger projects. I think the other thing he stressed was, this was on top of what
Yeah.
normally would be expended. So these are for larger type projects that often, obviously, local communities and the DOTs.
Major bridges
can't handle themselves. So you'll have your regular funding. This is above and beyond, which would be almost competitive in order to get. So it's kind of geared towards, the local communities, the DOT can bring their own money to the pot. Obviously, you'll have a higher chance of getting these projects, and the projects should be, as they normally are, is the biggest bang for the buck. Benefit to cost ratios should control how these projects are being selected, not whether somebody lives in this district or lives in that.
That's exactly right.
Should be an overall benefit type of scenario.
The federal government is talking about a 25 cent on a gallon tax, increased tax to pay for a lot of this infrastructure. That's going to be the key, obviously, is to get the funding. They get the 25 cents. Lots of stuff will start happening. Particularly, the state of Missouri is going to have a 10 to 12 cent, 10 cents on gasoline, 12 cents on diesel. Probably it's going to happen. I mean, I think we saw the House and the Senate leaders sitting next to each other, both shaking their heads that yes, they're going to put it on the ballot. And that would go a long way to get the state funding in line to at least take advantage of a lot of the federal match. That's the key there. So lots of things have to fall into place, but the chamber in that meeting, I think it was very positive, the 10 cent. I don't think there was no negativity toward the 10 cent per gallon.
The governor's
Adding it, the
opposed
governor's.
to it.
I know the governor's opposed to it, but at this point, that doesn't really, well, I'm sure it has an effect, but you've got senators and representatives that are now saying it's time. I mean, this last report, this blue ribbon report, whatever it was that did this study, it's being looked at, and it's being strongly considered that there is they know that there is a need, finally. They've accepted the idea that there's a need. So lots of things have to come together. 10 cents may be hard to swallow, but I think maybe the public is ready for it. They accept the fact that they have to pay more for, it's not really that much when you get right down to it.
The important part there is too, is that 10% is needed to leverage the other new funding that the feds are giving.
Right.
That's exactly right.
They're required to come up with 50% of the money, where they're only now coming up with 20. They've got to come up with another funding source in order to play in that larger pot of funds that are coming up in the future. Patrick McKenna, the head of MoDOT, was there, and gave an excellent
Excellent.
So Kevin, that's a 1.8 trillion budget, and that's based on 20% their share? So that must be one heck of a,
Huge.
yeah, 1.8 times 5.
That's at 20 trillion.
Like I said, it would,
The rest comes from
It would-
locals.
So they're trying to stimulate $20 trillion.
Uh-huh.
yeah, that's just, yeah, that's correct.
Sewer.
But I think that's what the number that the engineers have said is needed to get it up from a D to something acceptable, is it not? About that 20 trillion or something?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Patrick McKenna gave an excellent presentation, basically laying out MoDOT's looking to the future. Right now, what was it, Billy, have like an $800 million shortfall?
Mm-hmm.
Next
Right now.
years,
Mhm.
something of that nature. The 10 cents additional addresses like another 15 to 20% of that number, so you're starting to make some impact. But if you get the Missouri increase, what the federal increase, that could raise that up to address almost 65% of those.
That's right, that's exactly right.
years, I believe it was. So that's-
That's it. So when the initial numbers, you saw 80-20, they actually, we always think 80 from the feds, 20 from local, but in the process of this whole picture, as it all comes together, it flips, but yet it doesn't become 80% for the individual towns and the projects. It's going to be somewhat less than that, let's put it like that. But communities are going to be asked to participate, get involved, much like we have all the time. This is the way we've done business in this area. We participate. And we can see the end results of how it works. They're taking it to the whole different level. Maybe they used our plan, our motto, or our example, whatever. The other thing some of the other discussion was about, they talked about electric cars and the impact that, the fact that, the mandates are out there for the federal mandate on miles per gallon is like 52 miles to the gallon by 2025. Okay, I got one car now, and Toyota's a leader. I got one car that hits that number. So this is going to have to be a fleet average, right? And so the companies that are looking at these numbers and saying, the only way they can get it is with electric vehicles, electric or something like that,
Hybrids?
yeah,
Yeah.
hybrids, whatever. So at least there's discussion about what was going to happen. The number of gallons used is going to go down, so there's less money going to come in for the funding of the road, improvements of the roads and fixing them.
They did stress that the mileage, the high mileage period is about 2005 before the recession. Mileage is all coming back. When you look back, the cars are much more fuel efficient. The funding is drops. Just due to the fact that the cars are much more fuel efficient.
Right.
Yeah, and they also talked about the autonomous and connected vehicles. That's something that's coming at us, and I know we see it all the time. They think by 2025 there's going to be, and that's only 6-7 years from now, you're going to see autonomous vehicles out on the road. You're going to see them. You're going to see autonomous trucks. You're going to see driverless, basically. But safety-wise, that should increase the safety if enough. It can't increase it when you've got how many million cars, 400, 500, 600 million cars on the road that are all gasoline-powered, non-connected, or whatever. Connected meaning that they've got sonar and stuff to avoid accidents or whatever. Lots of that is happening in our cars already, and it's standard equipment. I think, I don't know whether it's all mandated yet or whether, but in my case, it's already, we see it. We're getting used to it. It is different. But you're going to see a lot more of that. You're going to see a lot more of this connectivity with everything, sonar, radar, whatever, in the new cars coming up. But again, great discussions. One of the other things, MoDOT has been, in fact, a couple of years ago, MoDOT challenged Tom Blair, he's one of the East-West Gateway people that work down there to find new or innovative ways to fund MoDOT, other than gas taxes. So, for 2 years now, it's been laying out there, and they've had all different types of companies and stuff give their ideas on what would be a great idea. And then along comes Amazon, and they start looking for areas to build their second headquarters. And in fact, Missouri lines up and gets Kansas City kind of together and says, like, hey, maybe we'll make a presentation together. Now, they came out, and the presentation, Missouri came in number 26th out of the list of people that presented, except that Amazon came back and said, we're kind of interested in this idea of yours, this Hyperloop idea of tying Kansas City and St. Louis together. In a Hyperloop, basically, 1 hour travel from St. Louis to Kansas City. In effect, you got a population of 5 million people. Now, all of a sudden, you become a population center of 5 million people within an hour away from each other. And so Amazon asked MoDOT to give them some more information about this idea, this Hyperloop idea. Amazon asked then, well, we need a description of how this thing would work in what do you call it, a study, feasibility study or whatever, and we'd like to have it in 2 weeks or a month or whatever it was, okay, which is so much unrealistic, you know. And the young man who has been involved in this said, sure, we can get it. Well, it's almost an impossibility to do that, except he went to the open market and got engineers. It was going to cost $1.5 million just to do this study. And he got private money to fund this study. And now they're looking at it, and now the state of Missouri, with Missouri and Kansas City, are one of 3 entities that are being studied for this Hyperloop. Worldwide. Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, okay. One of them is Dubai.
I think that is.
One of them is India, somewhere in India.
Dubai.
Well, Dubai, is Dubai Saudi Arabia? Or is
Yeah,
that-
it's
Oh, yeah.
Persian Gulf
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, okay, and there's Missouri, Kansas, or Missouri and, Kansas City, Missouri.
I think this was the only one in the United States, yeah, was this one.
And their advantages are, they say, as they said, you basically got flat land. The idea is to use the highway right-of-way that's already there. It goes above ground. It looks like the, just in some of the pictures that I saw, it looks like
Airport shuttle.
it looks like an airport shuttle or like the Alaska pipeline, quite honestly. That's
Yeah.
probably a better way of looking at it. And again, Missouri's got the edge because of the land, the topography is somewhat flat. Center of Missouri is pretty flat. There are, anywhere you go in the United States and you're going to build 250 miles of something, you're going to have topography that's going to be a problem. But that's kind of really, but one of 3.
That's cool.
So, I mean, for Missouri to come in, I think it's a heck of an opportunity. It basically goes like a bullet train, 200 miles an hour, 250 miles an hour, or something like that.
Yeah.
And the,
Yeah.
I was gonna
that's
say,
right.
like a
And the
little
engineering
bank, too.
firms that are getting behind this and funding the study, I mean, they're serious enough to put up $1.5 million to do it. And they showed where it would go from there, from Kansas City to St. Louis. One end of it goes to Chicago, and one end it goes to Denver. And one person asked, well, why did they stop at Denver? And said, well, there's this little thing called the Rocky Mountains. Okay? So, and then it goes east, Indiana, Ohio. I mean, there's, imagine you're putting it above ground, and it's just a
Well, the article I read on it too indicated that they were talking about having it ready for freight in some ridiculous short period, I mean, like less than 10 years. Has anybody heard that?
Yeah, that's,
And then, and
their
then,
initial testing is going to be freight before humans.
yeah, if you're gonna send it into a rock wall at 600 miles an hour, it
Yeah.
better be
freight.
freight.
Freight, yeah.
Yeah, but it is, it's the future, I think, something like that.
Well, and you have
It
below
changes
ground as an option
transportation.
too. Do it in a
It gets
tunnel.
away from fossil fuels, pretty much. Pollution, almost zero. I don't know. That was a lot of discussion on that Hyperloop. And if you go to the website, just HYPERLOOP, and you can see some pictures of what this stuff looks like. It may be, seem to be out of this world, but it's not. It had one of the logos on some of the stuff that they were presenting. There's a logo of Richard Branson's Virgin Airlines, right? You know Richard Branson? So he's evidently one of the financiers, possibly. But that was fun. It was good, interesting. I can't remember anything else. That was a hot one.
No, but they really started to push the electric connected cars.
You bet.
Not only from the fact that it's environmentally safe, but you get connected cars, you can fit twice as many cars on the same highway space, and more.
Yeah, you can run them back to back almost. You can almost connect them together. You run 5 in a row.
Like water, you get more water than pipe, basically.
They also talked about some of the challenges with Highway 70. What's the bridge? Rocheport Bridge is in need of being replaced. And that's huge. And as they said, to shut that down, to replace that, they'd have to shut down Highway 70 for, what was it?
Like, go down to one lane each direction.
Yeah.
One lane.
About a 25 mile, you'd be backed up, you'd be sitting in traffic through Columbia.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Talk about a four-
For like 2
40 mile
years.
lane each direction.
For like 2 years to replace that bridge.
That's not,
It needs
That's right.
replaced, yeah.
So they're looking at some major expenditures right there, and major backups. I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
How do you,
for the rehab, but they don't have money for replacements.
yeah. That's all I've got. Anyway, any other business?
I
Anything
just
else you
wanted to
can think of?
remind everybody about the Buckle Up Phones Down
Yes.
campaign.
Yeah.
If you didn't join the pledge, if you could just scroll down a little bit. We continue to be almost as bad as ever on our fatalities, so
Yeah.
we really need to have people sign this and take the pledge and actually listen to it. Put your phones down, texting down while you're driving, and make sure you wear your safety belt.
Yeah,
There were
statistics.
some great videos at the Municipal League Legislative Conference that they showed.
If you go on the click the business.
Yeah, and actually, you can put your business logo on
Yeah.
there if you want to. That's kind of be interesting that
I
everybody.
think the Wall
everybody
of Fame.
Did it
Sorry,
just
can
for
you go
the,
back?
just for the logo impression on your,
Yeah.
on the website. Be huge.
Advertising.
Yeah, they're doing it
So
for
you can
nothing.
see some of the companies right here that, what all those dots are.
Yeah, I thought it was on the bridge thing, but it appears to be us.
Looks like it's
On
on
the
our
camera.
screen.
You can scroll down and see the different,
Yeah, I can't.
you can't, oh, okay.
I'm working on it.
Oh,
There we go.
so you can post your photo of anybody anywhere taking the pledge too, so.
Yeah, cell phones and driving just don't go together. The primary seatbelt law still is, Missouri is still not covered by the primary seatbelt laws. It's costing lives. They can also do, what's the law against using the cell, or the
Texting.
texting? Most states have that already. State of Missouri does not.
There were only one of 4.
One of 3 now in the United States that doesn't have that.
I mean, it's almost a no-brainer to get behind and support, but you're still seeing, drive down the road and you'll see half the people on the road texting or doing something with their cell phone, even today, even knowing all this. Statistics say that you're 50% risk of an accident in a car crash, or up 50% if you're texting. We've all done it. It's all, but sign up, just go to the website, sign up. Doesn't cost anything. Get your logo on it. MoDOT needs the support of this thing to maybe at some point get the primary seatbelt thing done and move on. The other thing that was talked about a lot, and I didn't talk about it much here, was ports. Ports have become a big area of economic development. We had talked about ports at one point years ago. It's the conversation where everybody gets up and leaves, okay? When you talk about ports, I understand it. It's not the, but it has, statistically, it is great for economic development. I mean, it's a industry that is very cash needed, lots of cash needed to put in these ports and whatever, but it has a lot of economic benefit. So, again, that's just a from the point of view of what, and MoDOT does do a lot of funding for ports. So
Yes.
that's all I've got. Anybody else have anything for the cause? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Hey, Bill, next month I will be, do you want to keep this?
Yeah.
That way, you've got it.